mean, there's very few opportunities within the Columbia Basin to protect such a large landscape.
We're looking at 10,000 acres that would be coming into ODFW's ownership.
This ownership, as you look at it, it laces around all that BLM beautifully and creates a 20 to 25,000 acre block of contiguous public land that people can come out and explore and enjoy.
This land acquisition would basically secure the entire watershed into public ownership and conservation.
To have such a large block of land still in one family ownership and their willingness to sell the property for conservation purposes, it's very important. You see a lot of smaller pieces that become available for sale, but a property of this size and one ownership is unique.
Bighorn is probably one of the focus species as far as big game in our agency. The Deschutes population, we reintroduced sheep in the Deschutes in 1993. Over the last 20 years, this population has expanded to somewhere between 500 and 600 sheep. It's done very, very well. It's one of our source herds now for translocation throughout the rest of the state for California bighorns, as well as sharing those sheep with other states. We've taken sheep out of the Deschutes, put them in North Dakota, Montana, Idaho, and Washington. In addition to sheep, there's abundant mule deer on the property. This is an area where mule deer are doing very well, especially compared to other areas throughout Oregon and throughout the West, really. There are elk on the property. The landowners have a pretty successful elk hunting program on it. So there's just about any big game species that a person wants to come out and view or hunt, they're going to be present on the property.
Hunters from northwestern Oregon, Portland area, where I lived for years, this is pretty close, and I have this kind of a opportunity at this scale. That close to Portland is going to be a real bonanza.
This property will be non-motorized access. There will be a parking area where people can drive to it and then park, and then they'll be able to hike into the property. Yeah, so just foot access only on the property.
Once the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife recommends purchase of this 10,000-acre ranch, the state legislature will consider authorizing it, using $1.3 million from the federal government. Several other sources of money would also be used for the $3 million assessed purchase, including funding from the Land and Water Conservation Fund. The purchase of this Oregon treasure underscores the importance of the need for full and permanent funding of the Land and Water Conservation Fund, which expires in September. Backcountry Hunters and Anglers supports this purchase, as well as full and permanent funding of LWCF. Funded by offshore oil and mineral exploration fees, LWCF uses no taxpayer money, so onshore projects like the purchase of this ranch can be completed, so all can benefit.